Join us. I pledge of allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The city clerk could note for the record that Mayor Kautz is absent tonight. Tonight's meeting is being conducted both in person and online. Members of the public may attend in person, or the public can watch the meeting online at burnsvillemn.gov/meetings or Comcast channels 16 or 859. Public can also participate through Zoom by joining us at zoom.us/join. More information is available on our meetings webpage and in the council agenda packet. We'll now go to announcements. The schedule of upcoming meetings. We have our regular council meetings, which will be Tuesday, February 6th and February 20th. We have a work session on February 13th, so we can all enjoy Valentine's. That would be great. Annual off-site work session will be at the Wyndham Hotel, and that is Friday, January 26th, starts at 9 a.m. And we also have a special work session, which is joint with the 191 School Board, and that's on January 30th at 5:30 p.m., and that will be at Burnsville High School. And then last, we have a special work session, and that's on our legislative priorities, and that will be Tuesday, February 6th, 6:30 p.m., and that is in Dakota B. Now we will go to citizen comments. This is the opportunity for anyone that would like to address the council on an item that is not on the printed agenda and not coming before us at a future meeting. Does anyone wish to address the council? Nope. All right, seeing no one, we will move on. Do we have any additions to the final agenda? This is for emergency items that need immediate council action or discussion. Does staff have any other additions to the final agenda?
Nothing from staff, Mayor.
Does the council have any other additions to the final agenda? Nope. All right, moving. Now we'll look at the consent agenda, which is item number 4. All items listed on the consent agenda are considered to be routine and enacted by one motion. However, an item may be removed from the consent agenda for a separate discussion and vote. Is there anyone from the public who wishes an item to be removed from the consent agenda for a separate discussion and vote? Anyone online? All right, does staff have anything they wish to remove?
Nothing from staff, Mayor.
How about council? Yeah.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to pull 4C for announcement.
All right. 4C is now pulled. May I have a motion to adopt the consent agenda minus 4C?
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, let's go to agenda item 4C. Would you like to tee this off?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. It's really easy to say that. I just wanted to pull this because this particular quarter, this is the fourth quarter donations for the city, includes something of rather significance. There's a lot of great things that we get donated and supported from our community members. There's actually 2 things on here. One has been highlighted in a prior council meeting that the community is aware of, and that's the Burnsville Community Foundation's $35,000 winter lighting donation. But in addition to that, on this particular list, we have a long list of local businesses and private citizens who have donated many, many thousands of dollars to our community cheer holiday event, which was the PD, Public Safety, and the ISD 191 holiday cheer event at Diamond Head back before the holidays. And I just want to really highlight the work of Officer Hetherington, who did the bulk of, Chief, you can correct me if I'm wrong, or all of, but a tremendous amount of this fundraising was done by himself and some other officers. And so It is an impressive list of dozens of donors. And I know there was some on our third quarter donations as well. And it was a record year. I attended that event with my grandson, and it was one of the most heartwarming and positive community events I'd been at in a very long time. And thanks all to the police department and all the folks, Officer Hetherington and others who participated in that in various different ways. The fundraising on the front end and then the entertaining at the event itself. So thanks very much. With that, I would move to approve item 4C.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, I'll now recess the city council meeting to conduct a meeting of the Economic Development Authority.
Thank you, Acting Mayor Schultz. Good evening. I call the Economic Development Authority meeting to order, and the clerk will note that Commissioner Costa is absent. Item number 1, are there any final additions to the agenda? Seeing none, I will move on. Item 2 is the annual election of officers. Do we have any nominations for the slate this year?
Mr. President,
Yes.
I would just defer to Councilmember Schultz or Workman, who have, to this date, I don't believe, have ever served as the EDA president. I have, and you have, over the years we've been here, and unless they are interested in taking that particular position, I would move the existing slate to remain in place.
I have no interest right now.
No.
Is that a second?
Winner by default.
I'm sorry.
I think we're looking at status quo.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. And the slate remains the same for this year. Item number 3 is the consent agenda, which is the approval of minutes, the JPA with the Dakota County on the Open to Business program. Is there anyone that wants to remove an item from the consent agenda for a separate discussion? Seeing none, may I have a motion to adopt the consent?
Move to.
Commissioner Keeley,
Second.
motions. Commissioner Workman, seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, and it passes. Item number 4 is the adoption of the annual report, and Jeff Thompson, our Community Development Director, is presenting.
Thank you, President and Commissioners. So your bylaws, the EDA bylaws for each year call that the EDA review and adopt an annual report, and its specifics are just the actions that were taken in the past year. So we provided a summary of your actions. It was a brief list of actions last year, really the main item being the adoption of the levy and the budget to support our economic development work here into 2024. So that annual report is included in your packet for your adoption tonight. Looking forward into this year, just on the horizon, I know we've talked about the two probably most important grounding things to work on in 2024, and that's our economic development strategic framework and then our housing inventory. So we have our economic development strategic plan. It's served us well for the past 5+ years, but really this will be our a new look at our focus and strategies for economic development and redevelopment in Burnsville in the next 5 years, and looking at a more comprehensive look. So we're, as you know, we awarded the contract at the end of last year for the consultant to work on that, and we'll be kicking that off with the public and with the council here early in 2024. And the second component of that is our housing inventory, so looking kind of a deep dive into our housing infrastructure to fully understand our market conditions and our housing conditions and all the information that goes into understanding our housing market so we can continue to ensure we're supporting and investing in our housing stock. So those are the two biggest things on the horizon for 2024 that we're excited to kick off with all of you. Obviously, there's still redevelopment and projects happening in Burnsville in the 42 corridor. We're still seeing interest in the retail and commercial sector there. We expect some projects to move forward at the mall, be completed at the mall, and to move forward likely in 2024. And then, of course, we continue to see a strong interest in housing in heart of the city. There's the third phase of the Pleasant Avenue is now under construction. As you know, there's a fourth phase planned for the Diamond Head site, where there's a purchase agreement with the school district. And I will say that we get regular interest from developers, sometimes site-specific, sometimes not, but knowing of a housing interest and housing demand for heart of the city, which is unique when you have market conditions across the metro with interest rates and construction rates. We're not seeing the growth in housing as much, but we're still seeing that strong interest in heart of the city. So I think 2024 will have items for your consideration and investment again for the long-term planning of economic development and housing, but also some of the redevelopment goals that the EDA and council have had. So with that, we do recommend adoption of the annual report, and I'm happy to answer any questions that the commission may have.
Are there any questions? Commissioner Keeley?
Jeff, would you say that the economic condition of the mall and the area surrounding that has maybe turned the corner, and that given the new ownership, some of the things that we're being presented with, some of the new construction going on, that we are on maybe a much better trajectory than we've experienced in prior years for that area, and especially for the mall?
President and Commission, generally, yes, right? I think we've seen ownership changes at the mall. There are two major ones. One being the mall itself has sold last year and is under new ownership, which is planning it has a history of managing and investing in commercial centers. So I know they have kind of a new strategy and approach for their plans for putting new tenants in the mall. And then just at the end of 2023, the former Sears site, which was still owned by the holding company of Sears, did sell. That sold to a local developer who was in their very early stages of planning for investment and redevelopment of that site. So I think from a strategy perspective, like, the mall is important, and we know that the most immediate opportunities for investment and redevelopment of the mall are on the outside of the mall. And so we expect to see some more movement on that and something more comprehensive in hopefully in this year to come.
Thank you. Mr. President and the EDA Council, I think it's worthy noting the timeline that we've sort of lived through the last, about 10 years ago or so. The mayor and I were having meetings with the prior owner of CBL, and they were, the inside of the mall was losing tenants. We were very concerned about their reinvestment intentions, and we unfortunately went through 5 or 6 years of lip service, and then we got a new owner out of a bankruptcy sale, and unfortunately, due to their issues, internal issues, we weren't seeing what we were hoping out of them. So I think it's a significant milestone when you look through the recent history of the mall, and what we can see over the next, when we think about, okay, what's the next 10 years going to look like? With new owners who actually do invest in their properties and are there actively every single day in their offices, interacting, interviewing, signing new leases. There's a specific emphasis on them filling a lot of that space with minority-owned businesses, so we're getting a great diverse selection of business opportunities in the mall that reflect our community, and that's great for new entrepreneurs from all kinds of backgrounds and cultures. That's wonderful. And so hopefully this next few years, maybe the next 5, with the Sears sale and potential redevelopment and what the new owners are going to do, Mr. President, you might have if you're going to be in that position for a few more years, some really positive things that we can celebrate from an economic development standpoint, which for that particular area, it's been a long time since we've been able to really talk very positively about the future and things happening today. And then one final note, we have another ribbon cutting coming very quickly with the Jamba Juice and Auntie Anne's pretzel drive-through on Newton Avenue. So where the police department now has coffee just a half a block away, they'll be able to get smoothies and pretzels a half a block away at Fire Station 1. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Well, then may I have a motion to adopt the report?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Schultz, second by Commissioner Keeley. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And it passes. There's no other business. May I have a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Commissioner Keeley motions to adjourn, Commissioner Workman second. All in favor, say
Aye.
Opposed? And we are now adjourned. Back to you, Madam Mayor.
Members of the council, there's no additional items to come before us at this regular council meeting, and a motion to adjourn is in order.
Move to adjourn the city council.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That's it. Thank you for being with us tonight.